Hello and welcome to Baggies View. I'm Paul Bradley and I'm joined on the phone now by West Bromwich Albion correspondent Chris Lipkowski. Hi Chris.
Hello.
It's that time of year now in the close season where everyone's talking about transfers. What's West Bromwich Albion looking to do in the coming weeks and possibly the coming months?
Well, just strengthen where they can, basically. They're looking for at least one goalkeeper, possibly two, a striker. They've brought in a centre-half, Macaulay, and a right-back Jones, which will obviously help matters. But basically, there's not a lot of, they're not looking to sort of revolutionise the team, if you like. They're just looking to add to it where they can.
And are there any early names that are kind of springing to mind? Or at the moment, is it just too early to start kind of putting out these speculative names?
Well, Zoltan Gira's one they want. He wants to come back. He's very keen to come back. I spoke to him myself earlier this week. He would more than happily return if the deal was right from his point of view. It's up to Albion to obviously put that to him. Danny Graham is a player they pitched for. They bid $2.5 million for him. Swansea bid more than $3.5 million for him, and it's up to Albion really to match that bid if they want him, and that's where we are at the moment in that respect. Thomas Kuszczak has been mentioned as a goalkeeper. Brad Friedel was a goalkeeper I spoke to. He's obviously moved on to Tottenham now, so there's a few names knocking around, but it's really, really early in terms of the transfer window. The transfer window doesn't even open till July, and here we are in early June, trying to sort of filter out who is and isn't signing, and it's still a little bit early from that point of view. A few of the free agents are maybe posturing at the moment, but players who are under contract are going to take a few more weeks really to determine where they end up.
And just lastly, Chris, anything in terms of outgoings at West Brom at the moment, or is everything fairly stable there?
Yeah, I mean, the free agents have obviously been moved on. Roland Bednar and Marek Shek are intriguing ones. I suspect that they will try and manoeuvre themselves out of the club if they can. There's speculation about Ron from France being interested in Marek Shek, which doesn't surprise me. They've been keen on him before. Ryan Bednar, of course, who's never really, certainly in the last 2 years, never really been part of the furniture at West Brom. He's sort of been moved around and never really settled. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him move on. And there's the sort of candidates on the fringes of the team, the Chris Woods, sort of Joe Mattocks of this world, who even George Storney, you do think might do a job for somebody on loan somewhere. But in terms of big money departures, I can't see it at the moment. Peter Odemwingie is obviously the one they want to tie down to a longer term deal. Talk of a £40,000 contract. I can't see that on the basis that even if he's earning, say, 25,000, West Brom certainly aren't going to increase his wages by 15 or 20,000. They'll increase it slightly maybe, but to say that they'll increase his money is unrealistic, and frankly it's just come from somebody's imagination really, and Yusuf Mulumbu's the other one really. They want to keep hold of him. There's been no interest by either of those so far that we're aware of. Rumours about Arsenal being possibly into Odemwingie, but there's been nothing to substantiate those claims so far.
And just very briefly and lastly, Chris, do you get the feeling now, looking at West Brom, that Roy Hodgson's really starting to build something at the club, to build on their success last season? Yeah,
it's all about evolution in many ways. There's nothing that drastic will happen this summer. It'll be a case of topping up, building a squad of 25 players where there is effectively a flat line, whereby if one player gets injured, you've got another player of similar quality who comes in, which wasn't always the case with Albion. The key, of course, is to keep hold of the stellar players, as I've mentioned them, the Odemwingie and Mulumbu's of this world. Graham Dollins, of course, is to come back. But I can't imagine there's going to be an awful lot of change. And, of course, we have to remember that certainly a club like Albion start from a position of advantage whereby the three clubs who are promoted, Norwich, Swansea, QPR, come very much with inexperienced squads, inexperienced personnel, and in terms of Swansea and Norwich, come with managers who haven't really managed at this level before, and it's going to be interesting in that respect because for the first time ever we're not seeing a team like Newcastle last season or Albion last season who are promoted and have an abundance of players with Premier League experience. This year is going to be different. There's going to be 3 teams coming up who are completely new to the Premier League in its current guise, if you like. I know Norwich were there 4 or 5 years ago, but they've moved on. And it's going to be an interesting period, and I suspect it's going to be a far different landscape next season. I wouldn't be surprised to see the likes of Swansea, Norwich, and QPR to be among the survivor, or certainly the battlers for survival next year. But I think certainly from Albion's point of view, that can only help them. The likes of Wolves, the likes of Wigan, and Blackburn at the foot of the table, and the teams that you would associate with being wanting to stay up in the Premier League.
Okay, Chris. Well, thanks for your insights today, and thanks for joining us.
Pleasure. Thank you.
We'll be back again next week, or very soon, with Baggies View.